evening, gang, and welcome to It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host. And to my right and to your left, of course, is the lovely Valerie Eliason. Hello, Val.
Hey, Glenn.
How's everything?
Everything's great. Happy Leap Day.
Happy Leap Day. We'll get into that a little bit tonight, too, because I'm not sure what it is.
It's leap-tastic.
It's leaperific. Listen, gang, we are coming to you live from our beautiful studios here at BNN-TV, and you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. We're at 617-708-3290. And Davey and the gang are in the other room answering phones, so if you'd like to give us a call, let us know what is happening in your life. Give us a call. Please let us know what's going on.
Absolutely.
How was your weekend?
Too short.
It did fling by, didn't it?
It really did. It flew by so quickly that I went into work today and it felt like Friday. Like, gosh.
Yeah, no.
Terrible.
Friday we had at school, our school has won a national award for curriculum and teaching and what have you, the ACE Award. We're very, very proud of that. So they brought everybody in on Friday night to talk about the history and the future of the school and stuff. So that took my Friday night away. No, it's the school. It's amazing. But it took all of that, kind of put a kibosh on the beginning of the weekend. So it did go by kind of fast.
Yeah.
We're taking our show down today.
I know. It's a little bittersweet.
It's a little bittersweet, but the next show coming up is the West Roxbury Art Association.
Yes.
And I'll be hanging that at some point somewhere.
Which is a great arts association.
Yes.
Isn't that event we went to is black and white themed?
I believe it was.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that was wonderful.
So that was wonderful, and Anne's running around getting all of their stuff together and stuff. So I'm going to be hanging that, and we're going to be having an opening reception for them.
Good.
On the 7th or 6th or something. Next March. First Monday in March.
Okay.
So it's very exciting. What have you been up to?
Oh, geez. I got to see a friend I haven't seen in a couple years that I used to gallery sit at the Mills with. I would get to catch up and talk about what we've both been up to artistically.
Yeah, good.
I love catching up with friends that have really gone after it and gone after what they love.
Well, we're in for it tonight, I'm telling you. The great Dan McCole from South Boston Arts Association is here with us tonight. We're going to be talking about an incredible new thing that's happening over there. But when you get to know somebody as an artist and you separate and you come back, there's always that comparing and what have you been up to and stuff. Have you been able to connect with your new friend and show them some of the new things that you've been working on? Yes.
She's actually been watching the show
off
and on. She's really excited about it. Hi, Lemon. How you doing? So she's gotten to do that. Miles, whom I believe you've met, co-hosts with me sometimes when you're doing things with WGBH. He's actually, I'm very proud of him for this, he's going to start a movie. He's writing a screenplay and he's going to be directing a movie, and he asked me to play a part in it.
Very exciting.
It's going to start shooting in April, and I don't want to give too many details away about the movie. I don't know if it's still under wrap, but I'm very excited.
Have you done any screen work before?
I haven't, other than some modeling here and there. But I've never done any speaking roles.
It changes when you open your mouth.
Oh, I'm very nervous.
A whole new thing happens.
But I'm excited. I'm excited to try something new. Good. It's always something I've been sort of interested in on the back burner.
I can see you doing that. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Oscars last night?
I did not. I did hear that Leonardo DiCaprio
he finally got his Oscar.
Finally.
I have to confess, I haven't seen any of the movies. I'm not a go to the movie guy, but I love the pomp of it all, the spectacular of it all, and I just enjoy watching that. Besides, I wanted to hear what Chris Rock had to say.
Yeah.
You know,
Was it good?
It was. I think he gave it to them good about the diversity in the business, and you know, and I have to give the Academy, the people that are running that whole thing, some credit, because I haven't really heard a lot of people say this, but the way they control that program and the way that the industry and the way that the networks are behind all of this and all the money and how much, the image and all that stuff, for them to put him out there.
Yeah.
Somebody at some point said, look, Chris, just do it.
Yeah.
Let us have it. We deserve it. Let us say what you got to say, because he didn't hold any punches.
Yeah.
And I think it was a lot of things that needed to be said. There is a issue with getting faces of minority. You know, it's not necessarily the people who are being nominated, it's the people who are doing the nominating is where the issue was. That's all old Hollywood white folks.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with white folks, you know?
Nothing wrong with white folks.
You know, I mean, but I'm wondering myself, and I'll say this out loud to anybody who'll listen, I'm not sure I want to be nominated for something just because I'm a man of color.
Yes.
You know, I would want to be nominated because of my whatever I've done. You know, so I think that level of it, I think we all know that there were actors and actresses who deserved to be nominated.
Yes.
But I think that there were the next level of people who are making those decisions is where I think there needs to be some diversity.
And there's certainly a level of prejudice.
There's no question.
And it's, you know, it's 2016.
It's time to get,
It's time to.
And I think the smartest thing that he said last night that kind of drove it home for a lot of people, if you think about it, is, well, then why are we saying this is the best woman and this is the best man? Why isn't there this is the best actor?
Yeah.
You know, or this is the best person in the industry, you know, but
it just segregates.
It segregates and separates, and it's just kind of like the way human beings are. We do that. We are that kind of creature. But I think that it's time. What is it? I mean, come on, it's time.
Yeah.
You know, I have kids in my school that look at each other and go, we don't know what this is about.
Yeah.
We don't understand this. And I think that that's good.
I think it's good too.
It's great. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any plans for the week coming up? You babysitting any out, or are you going to be?
Not.
When's your next show?
I don't have one set up yet.
This is disturbing.
I know. I'm really bummed about it. I am, however, so I'm very excited about this because I haven't been probably almost a year. I'm going to the ballet on Sunday.
Oh, cool.
A nice little matinee. I'm going with Jacob and
what are you gonna say?
My mom. Good question.
Dancing.
Leaping. Dancing. Yep.
I love
it's a performance I haven't seen before.
Okay.
I'm at a loss for the name.
Did you do some dancing when you were younger?
I did. Yes. Yeah, I did do ballet when I was younger, and continued on with it off and on. Yeah. Sort of just I find it to be very like meditative and. Obviously, great exercise.
I can see you ballerining. Ballerining, yes.
Ballerina.
Ballerina. Well, listen, gang, thanks an awful lot. Listen, you know, we got a great show coming up, but I do want to talk for just a couple of seconds about the great people that keep us on the air here. Boston Main Streets is that volunteer-driven organization that helps revitalize business districts around the city. There's a whole bunch of them. They're over in Southie, they're over in Jamaica Plain, they're over in Charleston. They're all over the place, about 22, 23 of them. And what they do is they work with the property owners, they work with the people that are moving into the empty storefronts, they work with people that are running events in the community. And then through their works and through their efforts, they've revitalized many a business district around the city and now around the country and the world. The very first one in an urban setting was in Rosendale, Massachusetts, which is right here, our hometown.
Which we're very proud of.
We're very, very proud of. But if you see someone in one of those jackets, one of those Main Streets jackets, thank them for Val and myself, please, because We love what they're doing, they love what they're doing, and they're only doing it because they love their community. So make sure you thank them for us, right?
And they have to love what they're doing. It's all volunteer-based.
It's all volunteer-based, yeah. So there's no one out there getting rich doing this, except what they're doing is they're making their community richer. And they're making where they're raising their families and where they're living their lives a better place.
Yeah.
So we thank them for that. The other thing I'd like to talk about, just a couple of seconds, this is the amazing building we're in. We're at BNN-TV, which stands for Boston Neighborhood Network Television. And what happens here is what you're watching right now. This is the nonprofit side of cable access. If you have a nonprofit out there and you want to come and talk about it and get let people in on your mission statements and stuff like that, this is the place to come and do that. We will. If you go to www.bnntv.org, the first thing you got to do is click up in the corner that says what's showing right now, and what will come on is what's on the station right now. Valerie and I will be
our smiling faces,
sitting here talking to you live streaming, which is kind of cool.
It's very cool. That's it.
But if that's only one side. Are we making? Am I turning the channel here? You know, it will take a quick second. All right, and why don't you turn the station over to channel 23, which is our sister station here in the building, and you'll see what else is going on. There's some of the other stuff that we're doing here at BNN.
Video sale ever. Get a video recorder, color TV, large screen TV, video camera, even an audio video component system. Get it all on sale now during Crazy Eddie's greatest TV and video sale ever. Remember, we are not undersold. We will not be undersold. We cannot be undersold, and we mean it. So get anything and everything in TV and video. Get it now during Crazy Eddie's greatest TV and video sale ever. Crazy Eddie, his prices are insane.
He's crazy, all right.
And
that, of course, is not quite what's going on, but you get the idea. On the other station is where people can sign out and take these great courses in Final Cut Pro and how to do editing and how to do lighting, how to do sound, how to interview, how to use the cameras. These fantastic state-of-the-art cameras here, and you get to go out and do your own programming. And lo and behold, they come back here, you edit it in the Timothy Smith suite downstairs, and we put it on TV.
Exactly.
Yes. So if you're interested in doing stuff like that, go to www.bnntv.org and click on
Janice Williams.
Jan Williams or
Jim Atwood.
Jim Atwood's name, and they'll get you all the information that you need to do your own show. You're writing this down, Dan, so you can okay, good.
Yeah.
So that you can get in here and get doing your own show. This is a lot of fun. Val and I have a good time every single week when we come in. And I know that you can too. So listen, we're gonna take a break. You got a Val's View coming up?
I do.
Okay, great. You know, listen, gang, sit back and relax. You're watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and of course, this is the lovely Valerie Eliason. We'll be up in just a couple of seconds with a new edition of Val's View. Listen, gang, hang in there. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for hanging out there with us. We are coming to you live from our beautiful studios here at BNN-TV. And you're more than welcome to join us. We're at 617-708-3290. I also want to remind you that this show will be up. It took a little bit longer this past week to get last week's show up, but I usually get it up around Wednesday. And what it is if you go to your YouTube channel and you put in It's All About Arts and the number 1, you'll get all the listed shows that we've been doing here. You can reperuse them and share them and do all kinds of stuff like that. And also, please, would you take the opportunity to go to our Facebook page, which again is It's All About Arts, and like us, and just leave a comment. That's a place where there's a lot more things going on than just this show. There's Val's View is there all the time, as well as many other things that are going around the New England area in the arts. It's the place to go to get your information on the arts. And speaking of information on the arts, if you don't get it on the inside cover of the Boston City paper, every week it's there. But right now, it is my great pleasure, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's another Val's View coming at you. So sit back and relax. Val, it's up to you.
Well, thanks, Glenn. You always give such great introductions for me. So we have a couple great things going on in and around the city of Boston coming up over the next few weeks. So first on our list, we have the Boston Beer and Cheese Festival. And if you remember last week on the Val's View, we had bourbon and bacon, so equally as yummy. And this one is vegetarian friendly, I believe. So it's going to be held at the Cyclorama at the BCA on Tremont Street. It's going to be the weekend of March 11th and 12th. Beer and cheese go together in so many amazing ways. I love cheese. I could eat pounds and pounds of cheese every day. Be the happiest girl in the world. So for all you skeptics out there, I guarantee you that you'll be singing a different tune after you check out some of these amazing combinations. The event was huge last year, and it sold out a month before the start date. So you definitely want to go online and get your tickets while they're still available. It's going to be a very yummy and fun weekend. There's going to be 25 beer cider craft breweries that are going to be hosting over 80 varieties of ciders and brews. So something for everyone. And there's also going to be 10 different creameries from in and around the New England area that are going to be sharing delicious cheeses to go with those beers. So the event is 21 plus, of course, but check out online, go get some tickets, and indulge in a little cheese and beer. So second on our list, we have Boston St. Patrick's Day Parade. That's going on March 20th, all day, all over Boston, but primarily all over South Boston. Really doesn't even need an introduction. It doesn't even need more than just its title. It's probably one of the most famous St. Paddy's Day parades in all of the world. I mean, it probably rivals Ireland, I would say. So the Boston St. Patrick's Day Parade definitely speaks for itself. It's so much anticipated from Bostonians. People drive hours from all over the place to come to this thing. It's an incredible parade. It shows what St. Paddy's Day means to Bostonians, and it really shows the heritage and really shows the people of Boston and their best and true element. So everyone is Irish on St. Paddy's Day, so don't feel left out if you're not Irish. But aside from the parade, there's going to be music, there's going to be pub activities, there's going to be some of the wildest costumes that you've ever seen. Seriously, it rivals Halloween. So definitely go check that out. The event is free, it's family friendly, and it's going to be a fun time for everyone. And third on our list, we have the Fashionista and Foodie Fair going on at the Irish Social Club in Boston. Now this is going on April 3rd from noon to 3 p.m. and it's actually put on by our dear friend Carol O'Connor's show, Chef's Table. So really good friend of ours. She actually used to be co-host on this show with Glenn. So it's going to be an afternoon of runway fashion, food, wine tasting, shopping, and raffles. I mean, you don't need much more than that. That's, in a nutshell, an amazing afternoon. The event is hosted by Chef's Table, like I mentioned, and the proceeds benefit culinary education for homeless vets and underprivileged youths. So definitely goes to a great cause. Really fun event, and yeah, definitely something you want to support. So check online to get your tickets and see which vendors will be participating in the event for more information. So I hope you get a chance to check out some of those fun events that are going on. It's always my pleasure to bring to you the festivities and events and fun days that are going on in and around the city of Boston. I hope you get a chance to check them out. But without further ado, I'll throw it back over to Glenn. We have a couple great guests to be talking to. Back over to you, Glenn.
Thank you, Val. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Listen, gang, like I said, remember, you can see this show again up on YouTube in just a few days. If you go to your YouTube channel and put in It's All About Arts and the number 1, that'll get you right straight to us. And like our Facebook page, please. We need more likes. We like likes. But without further ado, it's my great pleasure and honor to bring back to the set old friend Dan McCole. Hello, Dan. How are you?
Glenn, how are you?
How are you? And thank you very much, Pat Steiner, for coming in. It's so my pleasure to meet you. Thanks for coming in. You guys, how's it going, Dan? What's happening, buddy?
It's going well. The South Boston Arts Association has been, we've been on a search for a gallery for a long time.
And I understand the search is over.
The search is over.
Congratulations, Dan. I know that a home has always been, well, for the Arts Association, not for Dan, but a home has always been something that you've been working really hard to, and I think it's a well-deserved spot, and a nice spot.
It's a nice spot. It's off of West Broadway, but just around the corner. It's called the Arts Around the Corner Gallery.
That's good. Okay.
And it is a Pat Steiner is the director of the gallery.
Yes, thank you for coming in, Pat.
A longtime member of the association, and she and her husband Tom, who is sitting over that way, agreed to take over the chore of running the gallery. Excellent. Which is great.
Great. Now, Pat, you've had some art here, haven't you? Didn't you show some stuff here at the BNN Gallery?
Yes.
How long have you been with the South Boston Arts Association?
Probably about 8 years.
8 years. What is there a mission? What do we want from the Around the Corner Arts Center? Is that what we're going to call it? Gallery, Around the Corner Gallery.
Gallery, yeah.
What's going to happen there? Is there going to be like a revolving show of visiting artists or just South Boston artists? What kind of thing do you see happening there, Pat?
Well, it'll primarily be a place for members to hang their work, and then there'll be shows featuring one artist. There'll be poetry readings.
Oh, very nice.
We have a writers group that's part of the South Boston Art Association. They have a poetry slam. And we're thinking of reaching out to the library and have the children write poetry.
Very nice.
And then recite it.
So visual arts it's not just visual arts. We're talking about writing and performances
and
music. I always like to hear that there'll be music. That's always good.
Right.
How is your artistic life going these days? Have you got a bunch of stuff you've been working on?
Yes, we went to Portugal last summer. We spent a week at an art school.
Very nice.
It was lovely, and then we take with Dan every Tuesday night. We usually bring supper, and we all paint together. And
that sounds very convenient. Sounds very convenient.
Yeah, and we paint on our own, and it's nice because it's the two of us, so we understand. we don't mind. We visit art museums.
Yeah.
That's our hobby.
Well, that's great. Well,
Yeah.
no, Janice and I are artists too, you know, and we've always got, it's that kinship between artists, you know, we're
Right.
all out of our minds, you know, so it's always good to have.
Does she mind if you critique her?
Oh, she goes nuts. Pat, don't do it. Or Thomas, don't
Yeah,
do it.
no.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to talk about that. Well, we got a couple of shots here. I can hold this up here. Maybe we get you to.
That's the corner.
This is the corner where the art gallery is.
West Broadway, and the gallery, by the way, right
Wanna
under
use
your,
this one over here? Okay.
right under your fingers is the gallery.
Right here.
Yeah, under the car, and of course we have the truck digging up a hole in Southie
Well,
on the street.
you can't avoid that. That's a Southie thing.
That shows you we're there.
And there it is. Art's around the corner, right there. That's. I like this.
Yeah.
I like this here. This is kind of cool. Now this is your. When is the opening? I want to come to the opening.
March the 3rd.
March the 3rd. You
That's
get me-
Thursday night.
That's this Thursday night?
Yes.
Wine and cheese.
Oh boy. Janice knew about this though, right?
I hope so.
I hope so.
She had better. She's on my list.
Are you having classes there for adults at the gallery, or is
Yes, well, there is. It's not huge, but there is room for classes.
Yeah.
We'll be holding them. That's one of the reasons that we want the gallery. We want to be able to bring people in from the local area to get them involved in what they're doing. A lot of them, you know how you're doing. You're working at your kitchen table, and you and yourself are doing it. But we want to bring them up. That's the whole idea of the association, anyhow, is to bring people out of their living rooms and dens and come down and talk to someone with a light brain.
Now, are you guys still going to be involved in open studios?
Oh yeah.
Can't get away from that.
Oh yeah.
It's
I live
huge over there.
in the distillery. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
that's
huge
my
over there.
studio's there. Yeah.
Will it reach up to West Broadway?
Well, that's possible. We'll do that because I see no problem. There's another good gallery in Southie, primarily photography. She does great work, Susan, and it's the 555 Gallery on 2nd Street. And actually, I can see it right out my window looking down there. And so outside of that, we're dealing with the residential people, and this is what they're doing some great work, and
Right.
we like to get it out to show people.
I know this place.
Yep. That's Debbie Putnam, and that was a first prize winner in the show down in Marina Bay.
Wasn't Janice in that show?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think I had a piece in there too.
Yeah.
That's
And that's by Patty.
Yeah.
Pat Stein.
I recognize Pat's watercolors. They're beautiful.
Yeah. And this is Tom.
That's my husband.
Beautiful.
Now this is Tommy Cherry. Tommy's a young guy, and he's a fireman, and he paints. He's been painting all of his life. He's just a.
All these great shots of the area. I love it.
That's Norman Crump.
Norman?
Yep. Norman Crump.
Now this guy here. Who's this bum?
That's the boss. Huh?
And this is yours.
Yes.
Wasn't this on the cover of the city paper?
It was a few weeks back.
Yeah. Here's this event that Valerie was just talking about.
That's the old parade.
The old parade.
Yeah.
Do you march or do you watch these days?
Oh no, I gave up marching when I was in the army.
No more
I
marching.
said that's enough. No more.
Let's talk about the gallery again.
Sure,
How big
yeah.
a space is it, Pat, that you've been?
I'd say it's about 15 by, say, 30.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can get some
Yeah.
decent pieces in there.
And Dan, he already's had a few demonstrations on the Saturdays.
Oh, you've had some soft openings already?
Yeah.
Well, I've gone down to sort of sit in and talk to anybody who came in, and I brought my paintings down, so
Good.
I'm painting down there on Saturdays.
Has Main Street got your sign and all that kind of stuff?
Well,
yet?
we're getting a sign up there, but we're having an A-frame sign on Broadway with
Pointing down the street.
yes, with Whistler's mother. She was kind enough to give us the permission.
Did I show that already? I did.
Yeah.
I did. That's funny. That's this way, please. Well, I want to say congratulations. I'll just show you just a couple more dance
Seeing it's Irish, I
pieces.
brought them along, and
Right.
that's
Yeah, these are amazing prints. These are beautiful.
that's called Everybody's Uncle.
How are the prints doing?
Oh, doing fine.
Flying out of there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one especially. That's my cousin's house in Ireland.
That's great. Do you get over? And here's our
yes.
gallery. We had our gallery show here, right?
Yep, with all of these.
Yeah, you guys know how to advertise. That's one of the things. That's what you should be teaching these artists, is how to get their work out there.
Yes, that's one of the things that why we have the gallery.
Yeah.
To get the artists to get it out and to let the people see it. And
Yeah.
they'll come if you have it there.
Yeah.
Like the baseball game.
Yeah,
You
sure.
build the field, they'll come.
play.
Yeah. So,
Well, the one thing I find is that artists have the hardest time promoting themselves. I mean, they can get the work out there, they can do it, pile it in the corner. But if there wasn't you and Suzanne Schultz or somebody coming along to help them get it out there so that people can see it, sometimes it'll just sit there.
Yeah, that's very important, is to get it in front of people and to
Yeah.
convince them that it's okay to buy, okay to have them hanging in your living room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dan, thanks.
Glenn, so
Pleasure.
good.
It's
Thank you.
always my pleasure.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You know the door is open all the time for you. Come back anytime and visit us and let us know what's going on, okay?
We'll do it. Yeah.
Okay, Pat, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
welcome.
And good luck.
Good. Hopefully we'll see you at the opening.
I'll probably, yes, I think Janice and I will be over there.
Great.
Because I know that Dan will be calling us if we don't show up. So
Bring your Kodak with you.
bring my Kodak with me, right, exactly. Listen, gang, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. We're only about halfway through. So listen, gang, you're watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes at Studio B. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for hanging in there with us. Right now, it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce you to Anthony Sammarco. Hello, Anthony.
How do you do?
How are you? Thank you for coming in and spending a couple of minutes with us. We
Thank you
really
for
do
inviting me.
appreciate it. You have written one of your many books that you've written. Is this new for?
Well, Lost Boston came out in the fall of 2014.
Okay,
and-
so it's is it the newer of your books?
Well, the last book was actually the centennial history of the Sons of Italy in Massachusetts.
Oh, you know, we have a Sons of Italy in Rogers
I know
Square.
you
Yeah,
do.
we do.
Exactly. But this actually was my 70th book.
Oh, congratulations! That's amazing. Lost Boston. Now, tell us a little bit about it. What is it that what kind of adventure are we taking as we go through this?
Well, Lost Boston is one of many books within this thing called the Cities of America series. ANOVA, which is an imprint of Pavilion in London, has begun to do a series of books. And they did Lost New York, Lost Chicago, Lost Baltimore. So when I got a call, they said, would you be interested in doing a book on Lost Boston? So at that point, they told me they were editing Lost Las Vegas. So when they're doing something on Las Vegas, I said, sure. Well, the surprising thing is they had a premise. It had to be something from the advent of photography of 1850 to the present. And there had to be things in every decade throughout the 19th and 20th and now the 21st century. But it couldn't be just grand mansions. They wanted things such as baseball fields, museums, hospitals. Yes, some mansions, but places that people knew and maybe have even heard about.
Right.
So it went the gamut from not only the aquarium in South Boston, but the Elephant House at Franklin Park Zoo and Braves Field. So there were things that people could relate to, whether it was they themselves or their parents or grandparents that once knew it.
That's great. Just by thumbing through here, you've kind of visited all the little kinds of well, here's English High and Latin School.
Yes, when it was in the South End.
When it was in the South End, right. And it seems to be pretty, are you looking at places that no longer are functioning in the way they were?
Well, the Lost Boston itself is the premise that the building has either been destroyed by fire or demolition, or it's been changed beyond recognition.
Right.
So in a lot of ways, the book that you're looking at now, the page is on the Parker House.
I'm very familiar. I used to work at the Parker House.
Well, the Parker House still exists, but this was the building that actually predated the present hotel of 1927. And the whole idea was to actually show how Boston's streetscape continued to change.
Yeah.
And some buildings were larger, some were smaller, some were totally antiquated. But one of the pictures actually is on the Boston Post Office that gave its name to Post Office Square.
Right.
And I think one of the concepts is, when you think of this building, the largest in all of New England, that it was only completed in 1878, but it was demolished in 1927, simply for the fact it was antiquated. And the federal government gave grants to various cities that would replace their post offices. So it went the gamut from places of worship, places of residence, but also places of entertainment.
Right. There's some businesses in here too. Some.
Well, Jordan Marsh is in
Jordan,
there.
yeah.
And I think a lot of times people of us that you don't remember. You're far too young.
But I have heard, my parents and grandparents at Jordan Marsh.
Exactly.
Jordan Marsh, yep.
And I think Jordan Marsh was a place, it wasn't just a department store, it was something that you could get everything from clothing and whites and linens, all sorts of things to furnish your home.
Yep.
But Jordan Marsh also provided blueberry muffins. And blueberry muffins were
Oh,
something...
I did not know that.
Yes, and the Enchanted Village.
I remember the Enchanted Village. You know where it is right now?
It's at Jordan's Furniture
It is.
in Avon, Massachusetts.
It is.
A nice segue between Jordan Marsh and Jordan's. But that is what history should be about. History should be something that not only is taught in schools, and I don't know if you're aware, but I teach at the Urban College of Boston, and I have, for the last 20 years, taught humanities, including a course on the history of Boston. And what I try to do is to make my students realize, and of course the public through my books, that history is something that changes continuously.
Right.
But unless we preserve it in a written format and, of course, beautifully illustrated, it's something that will be lost. So,
Speaking of preserving it, the photos you have in here are absolutely beautiful.
Aren't they?
Where are you Where do you find them in the libraries, or where do you collect them?
Well, ANOVA had sent me to do photographic research because they had to be albumum quality, which would actually be very clear and precise. These all came from the Boston Public Library.
Okay.
And the Boston Public Library has an on-site website that one can choose different things. And it was something that really took close to 2 months.
Oh, I'm
to
sure.
basically not only
Imagine.
research the photographs, but also to find something that was as precise as they might like. And the library was wonderful about it. It's all done electronically.
Yeah.
Really? So they digitized most of these and got them to you?
Exactly. And that was why, in some ways, when you think of reproduction costs,
Yeah.
even though the library is credited as providing them, they were digitized. And the higher the digitization, which
Right.
is 600 dpi, the better the copy photograph. So they look wonderful. And this book, which it's a hardcover, it's got, I believe, 69 individual essays that go with the photograph.
Yeah.
Go the gamut, not just of downtown Boston, but the neighborhoods.
Now the essays are your part.
Yes.
Yes. Now, being a historian in Boston, and are you originally from here? Is this
I
your
was born and
hometown?
raised in Common Square in Dorchester.
Yeah. So this is your hometown, and you're talking about your neighborhoods. How far out into the Boston? Well, Boston proper has always been Scully Square, right?
Exactly.
You know, but out into like the West Roxburys or the High Parks or the Charlestowns.
The reason I wrote this is to begin to talk about the neighborhoods as being part of the city of Boston. So not only do I have things such as in Reedville, the Reedville Trotting Park, which was a horse race.
Yeah.
But I have in South Boston the aquarium and the head house. In Brighton, I have the Holton Library, which is now the site of the Boston Public Library. So I have something on almost every single neighborhood in the city. And it basically shows in some ways how the city evolved in the 19th and 20th century.
Yeah.
So it's a fun thing that people can pick up. They don't have to read it from cover to cover. They can look at the photographs.
Yeah.
And they can actually sometimes begin to imagine what sometimes the neighborhoods really were like 100 years ago.
Right. Have you ever kind of honed in on that old theater district of ours?
Well, in a lot of ways, the theater district would be a wonderful book that just talks about entertainment.
Yeah.
But I've always thought there would be a fascinating book that could actually be on places of entertainment that
Yeah.
would go the gamut of theaters, movie houses, Scully Square,
Yeah.
burlesque houses.
Oh, yeah.
And I think in a lot of ways it's somewhat changed in our estimation. The downtown district where the urban college is located is adjacent to what was once called the combat zone.
Oh, yeah.
And it's completely changed because of the high-rise luxury condominiums. But in a lot of ways, it's an overlay of the city and the history and architecture and the way sometimes we and our parents and grandparents before us basically lived in the city. So it's a fun way to look.
I mean, people don't remember things like the Hillbilly Ranch or see,
Well, I think a lot of times you have to be of a certain age to remember some of these things.
Uh-oh. You know, one of the things that you are solely responsible for, I maybe shouldn't say solely, but you're responsible for are those small books, the CPN books,
Yes.
the history of such and such neighborhoods, really digging into the neighborhoods and doing...
Well, I mean, I've always loved history, and I think one of the concepts is I like Boston history, but the neighborhoods are part of the city. So about 22 years ago, I began writing for Arcadia in these sepia-tone books. The first one was Dorchester, which has now, I guess, gone through 12 printings. But they went the gamut: Roxbury, South Boston, Charlestown, and you know, every neighborhood of the city. Some have 2 or 3 copies of different things. But I know that you're both from Roslindale, so I did Roslindale and Roslindale Then and Now. And I thought sometimes when people looked at these books, it would jog a memory, and because I have a Facebook account and talk about this in Lost Boston, people are fascinated.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to share a story, and I think in a lot of ways that's what history should be about.
I think that I was in the Then and Now book, because you covered a little bit of Sacred Heart.
I did.
And we used to have the big May procession down Poplar Street, and there's a picture of me and Louis Scaramuzzo walking down Poplar
Wow.
Street in our white communion outfits. We were in the 2nd grade. And
I'll
there I
have to
am.
look. I didn't realize.
That's me, and there's also a picture of me in the choir there.
Well, if you weren't as famous as you are now, I would have said it immortalized you.
Oh, I've been immortalized. Don't worry. What are you working on now?
Well, right now I'm writing the history of Jordan Marsh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Jordan Marsh was the first department store in Boston. Not only did it actually extend credit, which was one of the first aspects of paying on time, but it was something that when it was absorbed into Macy's in 1994, really did lose some of the cachet. And now, of course, with the demise of department stores like Filene's, Raymond's, C. Crawford Hollage, R.H. Stearns, R.H. White, Kennedy's, and a plethora of other ones. In a lot of ways, we lose that aspect of going to town and not only shopping, but also going to town and basically experiencing what department stores were really all about.
Yeah, well, that whole downtown crossing and jewelers' buildings and all of that stuff are really going away.
Well, in some ways they are, but now Filene's is seeing Roche Brothers Supermarket.
Yeah, there's a supermarket in downtown crossing.
Senior living is going to be directly above, and the high-rise that they're actually building, which is going to be office space, changes the whole aspect of what that once was. Once we went there to shop for everything imaginable. Now we can shop in a department store, which is now a supermarket. So in a lot of ways, Boston changed, it evolves, but in a lot of ways it's still a fascinating city.
I can't think of any place else I'd rather call home. I mean,
Exactly, me too.
I mean, I just love Boston. I love my little borough of it, Rosendale. You know, I mean, I've been there my whole life.
And the neighborhoods are just constantly changing.
Oh, no question about it.
One time, people could identify with certain areas as to the high school or even the neighborhood with the ethnic composition. Today, the neighborhoods are wonderful in some ways. They've changed the whole character, and in some ways, it's a thriving nexus of cultures. But Boston also has a huge overlay of many new people from all over the world that have chosen Boston as their new place of residence. Many of my students are foreign born. And they look at the neighborhoods, and many times they live there for either convenience or economics, but they're all changing.
Yeah.
And it's our families, whoever we are, that have contributed to that. And many times what I do in my writing is to embrace not only the 50-year change, but also the recent.
Yeah.
And in some ways, history is ever evolving.
No question about it.
Absolutely.
You know, let's just to pick on Rosendale a little bit. Look at the variety of bakeries, of shops that people can go to. 7 bakeries right in the area of all different kinds of ethnic influence. It's just an incredible melting pot.
Well, a week ago, I was asked by the Friends of the Rosendale Branch Boston Public Library to do a lecture on the history and development of Rosendale and why it was truly a neighborhood that people chose. So I worked on it over the winter, and I got there, and it was supposed to start at 6:30, and people kept coming and
couldn't get out of it.
coming, and at the end there were 110 people. It was standing room only. It was a cross-section of ages, it was a cross-section of socioeconomics, and it was also a cross-section of really the people that might have lived in Rosendale for 50 years, even people that have lived there for 5 months.
Yeah.
And it was such a fun, energetic, dynamic group of people that was what local history should be about.
You should come down and visit our farmers market.
I do.
So you've been.
We're not far at all, and I go to Rosendale quite often to visit
Okay, I'm
Delfino's.
going to put you on the spot here. How do you spell Rozzie?
R-O-Z-Z-I-E.
Okay.
It's
Get him
phonetics.
out of here.
Security. already.
Oh, no. Gosh.
I want to thank you so much for coming and
Thank you
spending
for
some
having
time with
me.
us. It's fascinating. It really is. It's such a great subject, the city, and to get to talk about. You know, I got married at King's Chapel.
Really?
Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah,
lovely
we had
building.
my parents, my family's in one box, Janice's family's in another box. All our friends were up in the rafters. It
Well, I
was-
did see your stepson today opening the limousine door on Facebook,
Is that great?
and I thought it was a lovely picture.
It's great. He's got my grandson and daughter now.
Oh, my
so,
God.
Yeah.
But thank you for keeping the history, keeping history alive and inspiring people
Yep.
to see the roots, how it all started. It's really great.
It should be. History should be fun, but it should also include all of us.
No question.
Nobody with a vowel at the end of their name, I think, in some ways would have been perceived a century ago as a historian of Boston.
Probably not.
That's who we are. We're people of all walks of life.
Anthony, thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much. Thank you
much.
for being here.
Thank you
you
so
so
much.
Listen, gang, thanks an awful lot for being here with us. We'll, like I said, this show will be up in a couple of days. You can see it again on YouTube. And get out there and do something artful for yourself. Review what the Val's View is and go to the inside of the Boston City paper. And like we like to say every week, please keep in the forefront of your minds. Our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews on foreign soil. Please keep them in your mind and in your thoughts. Get out and vote tomorrow. It is very important that you do so.
Yes.
I'll see you at the polls if you're down in Rosendale. So be safe, folks, and we'll see you next week. All right? Okay. Bye-bye.